Welcome back to another episode of the Jeep Journals, where this is part two of a multi part segment of a recent trip to Big Bend National Park to catch the lunar eclipse and to hike the South Rim. As with before, I'm going to let the clips speak for themselves, and I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of this video at your own pace. Today is Wednesday, May the 18th. I'm here at the Boot Canyon cabin. Been taking advantage of this table here by basically sleeping on it for maybe about an hour and a half. When I got back, it was quite warm. You can hear the cicadas are starting to, not just starting, they're really singing. They really like to do when it's hot. In the shade, it feels really good. And here at the Boot Canyon area, for some reason, there are a lot less flies. And so I've enjoyed laying here without being bothered from my resting state. That, and it's so challenging for me to make it up to my site right now that I basically have had to stop and wait either for the temperatures to come down, or I keep hoping that someone will walk by and offer me some kind of a sugary drink. That's my absolute number one craving right now, is some kind of a carbonated beverage that is sugary. I don't even care if it's cold or not. So I'm clearly moving in on some of the things that I gravitate towards more than others. Sweets are one of my main vices, and as I said before, sometimes to shortcut those things, you really have to go out of your way to get away from those things. And at the same time, I'm sitting here at a trail intersection where I was hoping someone would bring me something to drink, and at the same time, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. But in the meantime, I've rested, I think, just about enough for me to resume my trek uphill. It's not that very far for me to go. I think I'm under 3/10 of a mile from where I'm seated to where I'll be sitting in just a little while. But there have been zero clouds so far, which plus it rained last night, which has made it a little bit more humid than normal. And so I'm kind of being challenged again. This is different from the grueling hike that I started this journey off with, because I'm just carrying my backup backpack. It's not even a backup, it's one of my main backpacks. What I mean is I'm carrying my more portable backpack with me right now to take on this day hike, essentially. And there's still quite a bit of water in that pack, so it feels a little bit heavy, but it's substantially lighter than the other pack, so I almost don't even feel it at all. What I mean is it's got some weight to it, but it's definitely not my full-size pack. And as I obliterate the water supplies that are in this pack and in my other packs, and as I get down to the last of what I'm going to be carrying down, I'm pretty much going to be in the clear in terms of how much weight I'm carrying. And the walk down is going to be quite easy, I believe, since I won't have as much water and food weight going with me. But there are definitely some challenges with me even wanting to stay another night, although sitting in my chair up at my site will definitely be pleasing, and enjoying the temperature cool off that comes in just a couple of hours will also be quite pleasant. And the smells out here are wonderful. I can smell pine, and there were so many trees that were blossoming, I guess, not too long ago in certain areas where it was so fragrant that you could tell why the bees were all around enjoying those trees still, even though there were no flowers. Anyway, just wanted to give yet another update from today that talks about some of the challenges that I'm going through, especially as I'm going through not eating certain foods for a period of many days or several days at the minimum, and possibly many days depending on how this turns out. Fucking shit. Oh my god.
It's like, I know what I want to say, but the way I'm feeling is pretty not so great. I have this beautiful field of red blooms in front of me, and it's filled with butterflies and hummingbirds. Did you hear that? And so I'm still smiling. Let me turn around so you can see it. See all the red flowers? It's kind of hard to see unless you really look for the flowers. Anyway, I'm standing in front of or behind this tree, depends on how you do the math, but I've got a little bit more of an uphill trek to go. I've been trying to spend as much time as I could in the shade. I actually felt nauseous a while ago, which I know is a symptom of heat exhaustion. I'm normally pretty used to the exposure. I've definitely downed a lot of water. I think that the reason I'm suffering from heat exhaustion is because I'm eating differently over the past few days than I normally eat. Normally I'm a pretty avid consumer of sugars and all kinds of other things. And like with stopping any other thing that we're addicted to, it can cause an array of symptoms. So I don't know which the nausea was attributed to. I know that I've been craving sugary substances to an extreme degree. I even asked a couple of rangers if they had a stash of sodas. Unfortunately, they didn't. But I do know that I can find them, not the rangers, the sodas. I know that I can find plenty of sweet drinks down at the parking lot. In fact, I'm right by a store there. So anyway, I just thought I'd record this for documentation purposes. So I did make it back to my site. I'm being buzzed by the things that think I already died, probably. I finished my Daypax bladder, which is a 100-ounce reservoir made by Camelback. And I also had 2 tangerines, which was one more than my scheduled allotment for today, but I felt like it was well deserved, and I still have 3 left. So today's Wednesday, and technically if I just have 1 per day, then I have enough to last me until Saturday. So it sounds like I'll be coming down to the basin, or going back down to the basin around Saturday instead of Sunday. We'll see. Time will tell. For now, I just wanted to once again document the process. Before I recorded the last clip, I was retching, like I almost vomited. It wasn't necessarily from the heat or the distance that I walked or hunger. Maybe it was because, like I said, I haven't had sugary substances in several days. Whatever the case, it was a productive day, and tomorrow's Thursday, and I'm hoping to put in an entire work week up here since I hauled everything up here. Although it's not very lucrative for me to be just doing this without any kind of contributions. So if you feel generous enough, please click on the description and find a way to contribute to this, basically this work. Today is Thursday, May the 19th, and I am striking camp. Right now, I used the effects of gravity to help to empty what was left in one Camelback bladder into my primary bladder, which is the one that's basically going to be feeding the heavy pack, which in turn will be feeding me. And actually, it's not even heavy anymore. It's just a barely full bladder of water. Hardly any foods. I ended up eating the last tangerines this morning. The sun hasn't even crested the mountaintops over there, so it's nice and cool. The birds are singing, and hopefully I'll have all of this bag loaded up just before the sun comes up and shines on this ridge. That way I can have a relatively cool and pleasant descent to Boot Canyon. From there, it's a quick jaunt to the Pinnacles Trail, and well, as they like to say, it's all downhill from there. I'm going to use tent stakes to remove the tent stake. What I'm doing is putting these two stakes in just a way to where I'm using them like kind of like pliers. There isn't a lot of real estate here, so well, I've tried as best as I can. Let me try a little bit of another object of persuasion. And let's go back to method one. What I'm trying to do is avoid any injury. And like Excalibur from the stone, I've pulled one of the most stubborn stakes using other stakes and, of course, a different tool of persuasion. Hey everybody, it's about 8 o'clock, and as you can see, I didn't quite beat the sun. However, I'm still mostly in the shade, and so the going is pretty pleasant. By the time I get to Boot Canyon, which is very shaded, I think it's going to be some of the easiest hiking, easiest backpacking I've done, especially because I started out with so much more weight. And now that I'm traveling still with a number of luxuries, including a chair and a table and a guitar and all sorts of stuff, now I know that I can do this same trek with less equipment if needed, or with different equipment. Like, let's say instead of the table and the chair and the guitar, I wanted to document some of what's going on a little bit more fully with motion sensitive cameras or full-size cameras, so that I can capture things a little bit more clearly than I have been with just my mobile device. On the flip side, I think that coming up here with less is definitely more. Check out these flowers. I know it's kind of difficult to see, but all over this hillside are beautiful flowers. Purples, reds, I would call that fuchsia. I don't really know. Yellows. Anyway, I'll see you down at the bottom, and of course I'll capture whatever I see between here and there. bag says Porter's. It's much harder to pick up this trail debris wearing this full-size pack. So, but I can't avoid finding this stuff all over the trail at the same time. So I don't know if I was in frame or if I looked funny, but because of the close-up. But basically, as you saw, I just came across more of the stuff that I think is adversely affecting these environments. And part of the reason is because we bring it here and we're a little bit careless with it. Part of it is because it's manufactured so quickly and so abundantly that it's practically free. They give this stuff away, even though it lasts forever, you know. For the value to longevity, I would say that things like this should cost more, so that we waste it less, almost like water even. Anyway, I'll end on a good note here. morning. Beautiful day.
Yes.
Have a great one.
You too.
Thanks. Sorry for losing focus there for a second. A lot of people talk about don't focus on what you don't want to see, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So if I see a lot of trail debris and I showcase it, it's not because I want to make a trashy episode or have a decline in viewership. It's just mostly because it's there, and we can no longer continue to ignore the debris that's all over the trails without figuring out a way to work together on overcoming this obstacle. So thanks for watching me on this journey. Thanks for watching this journey, actually. And thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you're having a great day.
You don't want to speak him.